Hi. Hi, Dinah. Hi, Danya. Look, Dinah sent you smooches. Send her kisses. Send her kisses.
Mwah.
I don't know if I'm live yet. Nita, am I live? I don't think so. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Hi, guys. I'm Lorienda Ellen, and this is
Brandon. Brandon.
this is my beautiful, handsome son, Brandon Crawford. And today I decided to do a live for Autism and Us, which I love this group. And I'm honored to be a part of it. Hi, Spencer. Hello. Good evening, everybody. So basically what I'm just going to share tonight is resources. Are you ready to move to Florida? Because I noticed a lot of communication in the group, in the parent support group. A lot of people is ready to move to Florida. And, I wanted to just give you guys some insights, the good, the bad, and the ugly of Florida. So we all know that Florida is the sunshine state, and everybody wants to move here when they retire because there's Disney and there's beaches and there's everything that you can do on a tropical island, but you're not on an island, on an exotic tropical island. You can do here in Florida. Now, Florida is beautiful. Florida is a great state to live in. Florida, we only have federal taxes, so we do not have state taxes. So therefore, like some states like New York and California, if you move to those states, you have to do federal taxes and state taxes. So Florida doesn't have state taxes. So Florida is ironically, Florida is one of the poorest kind of state to live in. It really is, because we don't have any state taxes. We don't have additional like taxes to as resources. Yes, we make a lot of money at Disney's and Universal and SeaWorld, but it goes into the beautification of the theme parks and and the beaches and stuff like that. So I want to just get into a little bit. I moved to Florida, Orlando, Florida, in 1998. Brandon was 18 months old. He was a baby. As soon as I moved here, I moved here. I lived in Texas. Brandon was born in Texas. We came down here February, like a month after he was born, and I came down here for a vacation, and I fell in love with it. That's what we all do, right? When we go vacation, we're like, oh, we're gonna move there, or fall in love. So I moved down here like a year later when Brandon was about 18 months old. And it was hard. It was hard because Brandon didn't get services until he turned 22 years old. Yes, 22 years old. Yes. So I did not have any support or any kind of services here in Florida. So he went to regular schools, elementary, middle, and high school. He did have a IEP, individualized education plan, and to meet his needs for him to succeed in school. He did go to public school here. I didn't want to put him in a all autism school or an all uh, segregated school like for individuals with special needs. We do have those schools, but I didn't want him to be put in those schools because he has potentials. Like he, if everybody knows our kiddos are like sponges, so they pick up. So if they're around people if they're around their peers that, only does certain things, then that's what they'll do. And I just wanted him to experience public school like everybody else. That's what I wanted to do. So when we moved here, I put him in preschool, probably like about 3 years old. I put him in a regular like a daycare center, just so he can get socialization and interact with his peers. And the teacher would always tell me that when he was little, he would always want to go in the corner of the daycare. When he was outside playing in the yard or whatever, or inside, he would always want to play by himself, and always, it was some kind of odd object or particular toy that he would hang on to, and he wouldn't want to play with like all the toys. It'd just be like certain, whatever was appeasing to him, that's what he would want to play with. And he would always be alone by himself, but he was happy. I mean, it wasn't like he was sad or anything like that. So that's when she would tell me, she's like, he's odd. He likes to be by himself a lot. He's content. And so I started looking into it because, here in Florida, we can start getting our kids ready for like pre-K at 4 years old. So around 4 years old, I applied for hi everybody. I applied for it's like a stipend for children that's getting ready to go to pre-K. And in that stipend, they kind of do testing, like developing, developmental testing and stuff like that. So they did do a extensive testing on him, and we found out that he was diagnosed PDD, which is pervasive developmental disorder, because in the state of Florida they cannot diagnose a child with autism until till 6 or after the age of 6. They cannot legally diagnose a child. So that was his title, his diagnosis up until 6 legally. So we applied for grants and he got in. And so then I noticed that he started sign languaging. Like he just started doing sign languages and stuff. And that's how he would, he would start talking to me as a sign language and everything like that. And I he still know a little bit now, but not as much, because I was wondering, I was like, oh my goodness, maybe it's something going on with his ear, his hearing or something, maybe he can't talk. So we got him tested, and lo and behold, everything's fine. That the boy can hear good. I mean, he can hear like I think that's like his 8th sense. He can hear very good. And he can speak. There was nothing wrong with his vocal cords or anything like that. So in preschool we implemented, like some speech therapy, because I told them, I said, well, I'm honored that he can sign language, but society, most of society, we communicate by regular talking. So I wanted him to be taught that. So we put in some speech therapy and everything like that. So fast forward, he successfully finished his preschool program and everything. He still was delayed. I had to hold him back in kindergarten. They kind of gave me some pushback because he was tall, and he was, at that time, he was chunky, and he was like bigger than everybody in the class. And if you know, most of our kiddos tend to be bigger. They tend to be bigger than their sizes. And I know I wasn't really worried, because I do have tall people in my family. My brother is 6'4". My dad was 6 feet. My mom was 5'11". She shrunk now. And I am five. Well, I was 5'6", but I've shrunk too to 5'5". So, um, but I was the shortest out of all my immediate family. And then all my cousins and stuff, like the boys are 6 feet and taller. And then the girls are usually like 5 feet, 6, 5, 7, So we had tall. So I just thought it was normal for him to be tall. But I have friends and family, that everybody's short, dad, mom, everybody's short, and their kiddos is tall, huge guys, big guys, bouncers. So we so they were saying that they didn't want to hold him back. But I know that as far as development wise, he wasn't ready to go to kindergarten. So I held him back, and I'm glad I did, because it helped him. So he got another extra year, and then he was ready to go to first grade. And then again, we implemented the IEP and everything like that. So just asking, does Brandon always rock like that? My daughter Anita does that. She will do it hard against the wall, a couch. It doesn't matter. Yes, he does. He does. And it's their sensory, it's their security. They could be thinking about something, like I think Brandon, he's probably thinking, he's bored right now, and he's probably thinking about his TV show or something that he's probably got is playing in the background. So he's probably listening to me, listening to that. They hear everything everywhere. So yeah, he does. He always rocks like that. Brandon also has uh Brandon had seizures when he was about 5 years old. He used to have seizures where he bang his head on the walls, and we would have, when he was little, we would have to put the helmets on. And then he outgrew that. And then he developed, we thought it was gone. And all through elementary, all through middle school, all through high school, he did not have no seizures, no episodes, no banging head on the wall or nothing like that. And then it was like after he graduated, um, it came back, it was always there, I guess, but his episodes came back. So yes, Brandon has seizures as well. He's asthmatic. Um, and then he has some stomach issues. Most of our kiddos with autism, I was reading a study that they have a lot of them have gastrial problems with their stomach. Sometimes it's something with the food processing with them. And I was also reading that the gut and the brain, and the mind goes together. I know it's weird. I'm not no doctor. I don't know how it goes together, but it does. It does. And so, but it makes sense, because I noticed that a lot of my friends or people that I know that have individuals with autism, they do have a lot of stomach problems. Either they're constipated a lot, or they have diarrhea. It's one or the other, or both, but they do have a lot of stomach issues. So I think I'm going to let Brandon go ahead and excuse him, and go and watch his show. I told him, I promised him, I said, you only have to sit with me for about 10 or 15 minutes. But I think he's done that. Do you have any questions for anybody? Would you like to say something to everybody before I go ahead and finish telling them some stuff, resources?
No. No.
Okay. Well, just thank everybody. Thank everybody for
Thank you. you.
for listening. Okay. Okay. Would you like to talk about your seizures with them? No? Look in the camera. Let's see. Look, we got hi, Brandon. It was so nice seeing you. No? No question? Look, that can be true. Nathaniel has stomach problems. You have questions?
No.
Okay. Okay. Well,
No.
you can go ahead and go. I'm going to finish talking with them. Okay. Bye bye.
Bye bye. Bye.
Okay. Much better. Much better. I got room. Okay. So, I lost my train of thought. I'm so sorry. Um, so, oh boy. So we got him in elementary. He did fine. We had an IEP. When you get your IEPs, it's you can ask by law, you can ask for emergency IEP. Like if there's issues that come up, you don't have to wait for the teacher or the staffing coordinator to reach out to you and let you know. If you notice something and you need accommodations, or you know anything, that's part of their student rights, that they can, based on their IEP, you can requests an emergency IEP for any issues that come up, like new issues that come up. I would encourage people. I requested everything on my IEP. I because my son was out a lot of school, and I don't know, in Florida they have this rule that if they're out more than 10 days, consecutive days, then they can get suspended and all this stuff. So what I did was I was thinking proactively. I got on his IEP. I had the doctor to write a note to just automatically excuse his absences because of his seizures, and because of his asthma, and whatever other, because some of our kiddos have other comorbidities besides autism. We can't just get a note saying autism by itself. But if your child has high blood pressure, ADHD, you know or depression or anxiety, you know we all know that those diagnoses, you have good days and you have bad days, and sometimes they just don't feel good, and they just like we don't feel good when we don't feel good. And I take mental health days every quarterly, just because for my work, because I need to take a break and just wind down and get it all, process everything. So that's them, but they just can't tell us. They can't just explain to us like, listen, I'm just not feeling up to it. I'm not sick, I'm not, runny nose or nothing like that, but I'm just not doing good. So yeah, I would encourage to get a note and attach it, and just so whenever they're out, because Brandon was out, like Brandon would be out as Brandon, oh gosh, Brandon way exceeded the 10 days a year or whatever it was. I think it was 10 days. Yeah, 10 consecutive days a year or something like that, within 3 months or something like that. And yeah, he was out of school a lot because he wasn't feeling good or sick or whatever like that. Behaviors. Brandon does not have any behaviors like aggressive behaviors or anything. His behaviors are more like anxiety and and um and sad. He'll get melancholy a little bit, for whatever reason. He might think of something, or some cartoon, or one of the voice actors is sick or something. Whatever is bothering him, it'll affect him. So I would encourage that. So then he went to middle school. Middle school was pretty good. We didn't have no problems. When he transitioned to middle school, what I did was his last day, his not last day, but his last year at elementary, fifth grade, what I did was I had him go to summer school. The extended school, it's called extended school year here in Florida. I had him go to summer school so then he could acclimate and learn the campus and the in the where the cafeteria is and everything without the general population, all the kids there at one time, because in the summer it's only like a few handful of kids, and then the teachers there can kind of spoon feed him, and walk him and show him, and so he can acclimate. And so when the regular school season started in August, he was fine because he already knew his campus, he knew where his classroom was, he knew the new bus driver, and et cetera, et cetera. That's another thing. Put on your IEPs as well, transportation, and also make sure that you put seatbelt restraints, not restraints, but seatbelt, and that you want a monitor on the bus, so that it won't be like a regular bus with a bunch of the regular kids on there. It'll be just really like Brandon's bus only had like 10 kids on there, on his bus with a monitor and the bus driver driving the bus. So the bus driver driving the bus, and then there's somebody, the monitor there to monitor and supervise the kids and make sure, that they're okay, and everything like that. And air conditioning in Florida we need air conditioning, but yeah, air conditioning on the bus, for people that has respiratory issues and stuff, a special bus. Make sure that you put that, you have to request that, and you can request it. It don't matter if they say, well, no, you don't live but 1 mile away or whatever. It doesn't matter. Because if you inundate your IEP with all your accommodations for your kid, then they have to, by law, honor that IEP. That's like a law book. You know what I'm saying? And then you could sue the school system and the district for not, honoring the law. So it's very important. Okay. So then we went to middle school, and then I did the same exact thing when he went to high school. Brandon graduated with his class of 2016. There was 3,000 students at his high school that graduated with him, and he walked across the stage just like all the rest of them. There was no special treatment. Well, I'll take that back. They did let him and the individuals with unique abilities go first, just in case, so they wouldn't be able to sit through the whole 3,000, and that's fine. But they didn't like have a special section with them or nothing. Brandon sat in the section because he had like an honors cord. He had a cord for honors. He sat with honors, the honor students, so they didn't separate him or nothing. So and he graduated. We usually have our graduation ceremonies. They hold them either at our Orlando Magic's arena, or it's every other year. It depends on the year, or they hold it at the arena at UCF, Central Florida, University of Central Florida. So, and it was just as beautiful there, because it's a big arena as well. So that he walked across the stage just like everybody else, and it was just a beautiful moment. The principal shook his hand, everything. I'm telling you, it was just a wonderful experience. So all that to tell you that yes, he didn't get his support until he was 22, because Florida is good of giving support to individuals with unique abilities, special abilities, disabilities, however you want to call it. They are excellent when they're young. The part is when they're become an adult. So hi Linda. So that's the problem where a lot of people get hung up when they move to Florida, because Florida, they will inundate you. They'll give you all the support you need when your kid is young, right? So that's why he wasn't able or eligible for any support uh, during his minor years in school, because he had support. That's what they would tell me. Like when I would apply, they would say, "Oh no, he gets, he's in school 8 hours a day. He gets a speech therapy there. He gets occupational therapy. All his services in school." And I couldn't fight it, because I mean it's true. You know what I'm saying? And then it's my responsibility when he comes home, the natural resources to come in, right? So I said, okay, we'll just fight more, and we'll wait, until he turn when he becomes an adult. So when he was right at 18, I wasn't ready to do guardianship for him. I wasn't ready for him to lose his rights. Right to vote, uh, right to marry if he, if he wanted to. I just wasn't ready at that time. I have changed my mind now. At that time, I did a durable power of attorney. A durable power of attorney is a power of attorney that after they turn 18, you are the the responsible one to handle their financial affairs after they turn 18, right? And but the durable power of attorney is a little different, because that has a little bit of language for the medical part of it. So I do have that, and they have to be able, your child has to be able to sign that in front of a notary and a witness, um, basically saying they understand and they're giving you this authority. So, and that was good. At that time, when he was 18, he was still a little bit more higher functioning. He talked more. He has declined a whole lot. So now I am actually thinking about doing guardianship now. Um, and the reason why I've changed my mind about guardianship is because I'm getting older. He's getting older. He's declining. I am a single mother now. Um, and if something happens to me, at least I know that a professional guardian from the court will take over and have to continue meeting his needs. He won't be stuck. He won't be in the black hole. He won't be lost in the shuffle, because it'll be court ordered, and then they have to, it's law, so they gotta abide by it. They can't be worried about who and why, and we short staff or nothing like that. But the guardian is more, it holds more authority than his durable power of attorney right now. The durable power of attorney has done me well. It's done me good. I have not had problems with it. But the thing is, and because I've had the same doctors for Brandon, his pediatrician. Well, it ain't his pediatrician no more. But his doctor, his primary care doctor, his neurologist, his epidemiologist, his pulmonologist, all of them, they all know me. You know what I'm saying? They all know me, and they don't give me problems. But technically, I can't, with a power of attorney or durable power of attorney, some people might give you pushback of letting you go in the medical room with your kiddo, as an adult. Okay. So that's the only thing. So I do encourage that to get a guardianship. So they have plenary guardian. That's like full guardian where they lose all their rights. And then they have limited guardian where they can sustain some of their rights. And so those are options that you can do. And then we also here in Florida have what you call a guardian advocate. And this is where the parent or family member can, instead of going through the court, it still has, it's the guardian advocate goes through the court, but it's just less stringent as a full-on guardianship, because they don't lose their rights with guardian advocate. They can keep their rights, and then usually it is the family, it's the family that is going to be the advocate uh uh for the person, for your loved one. So and it's cheaper. Guardian advocate is cheaper. I have equivalent of a full guardianship. California, it's full conservative. Okay. Yes. So conservatorship, I've been reading, that is it's the same as guardianship, but conservatorship is, it's a guardian, I'm sorry, an attorney that is appointed as the conservatorship. That's what I read. That's what I had read, the difference. So every state is different. They call guardianship, they call conservatorship, some might say guardian ad litem. Usually, I know in the state of Florida, guardian ad litem is for individuals that are minors under the age of 18. It gives us, okay, very good. Right. So you have all seven. So yeah, full guardianship. You have all the ward, they lose all seven of their rights. The seven rights are social right to live, uh, medical, um, contract, apply for like government benefits. They can sue and defend, and I'm missing one. Oh gosh, can't think of it. And marriage, yes, yes, yes. Thank you, Linda. Yes. So, but I'm getting ready to go full on. I'm getting ready. At this point, Brandon voted in what was it? 2016. What he voted for Obama when that was his first. He was 18, and that was his first time to vote. And he ain't been interested no more since then. In fact, they don't even send the voting card to him no more, because he ain't voted no more since then. And he ain't even interested. I asked him, and he's like, nah, he don't want to fool with it. So, and then he's declined. And I just don't want any issues that if something happened to me, because, anything can happen at any time, any second of any day. I mean, time is like precious. And so I want to be able to, I don't want to be turning over in my grave, because I think I would, joking, playing, if I know that my kid is, not taken care of, or, is up in the loophole, so I know that guardianship, and when you do guardianship, you are going to have to explore stuff like advanced directives and healthcare surrogate and do not resuscitate orders. And I know these are like tough things to think about, but we got to, because nobody can love our kids more than us, right? I mean, right? I mean, nobody can love our kiddos and prepare them more than us. So we have to think about it, and that's why we have Autism in Us, this parent support, because we can all talk to each other and say, hey, I'm going through this, and, send hugs. And, some of us have been through it, and we can help each other and talk each other through it as well. So, I'm very grateful to Autism and Us. So I just wanted to tell you guys some resources in Florida. We so like okay, so for SSI, everybody knows that there's a difference between SSI and Social Security. Let me see. Dinah says military too. I had to let them know he had autism and they still needed a medical diagnosis to exclude. It's crazy. It is. And you know, I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna see if I can maybe start something in Florida where, because I don't understand. Like, this is what I don't understand. We gave birth to these kids, right? We raised them. We took them to all their doctor's appointments growing up. The schools know us as a mama and everything like that. And then when they turn 18 and they had IEPs at school, they were in a special needs class or school. I mean, it's obvious. And even if you know what I'm saying, they have it there. So when they turn 18, it's like some doctors, some places, they don't care. They just like, we won't talk. Well, we want to talk to him ourselves because he's an adult. But they're gonna have to fight me because I'm going in that room with him. So I mean, I guess y'all see me on the news going to jail or something, because he ain't going in that room by himself for them to trip him up and he get confused and he don't understand what they're saying, or he gets nervous and he says yes but he really meant no and all of that. No, I'm in that room all the time. Like or we just turn around, and I don't even have that problem because, like I said, I have his doctors and stuff like that. They're they know me. And I think they know I can turn into a fool too, for my kid. You know what I'm saying? So all for the kids, right? All for our kiddos. So everybody knows the difference between SSI. SSI is it's state to state. You cannot transfer SSI. If I move from Florida to California, I can't transfer my Brandon's SSI to there. When I moved to California, I got within 30 days, I need to let them know, go down to the Social Security office down there and give them my address of my residence and where he lives, and then report it, and then they will calculate and start the SSI benefits there. I think in California they have state too, so he might get two checks, like the regular federal SSI check, and then there's a state like supplemental check on top of that. Certain states have them and certain states don't have it, so people get confused because they think that when they move, SSI transfers. It does not. It is it's an SSI. If you receive SSI in any state, $1 of SSI is connected to Medicaid. Your child get Medicaid. It's different if they're getting Social Security disability, SSDI. That's a whole different ball game. That's strictly a disability check from another pot of money from Social Security that gives them disability. Usually it is more than the SSI checks, and usually when the child gets a SSDI, usually it's because either maybe a parent was disabled and they're able to get it's like a rider off of the parent, and then they get the Social Security disability check, or they may get it because maybe they've been there's certain diagnoses that they can get it if they've been disabled like since birth, and then they automatically get like SSDI and SSI. Like, it's crazy, but they're two different, so don't get confused, because just know that SSI, supplemental security income, that is Medicaid. Just think Medicaid. That's the easiest. That's how I process. SSDI is Medicare. Medicare. And that's, they'll get Medicare after they're disabled at least 2 years. Okay. Or they reach an age of 65. Okay. So just remember that, because a lot of people gets that confused. So when I got here to Florida, I the first thing I did was I went down to Social Security. I applied for SSI for my son, SSDI, everything I can apply for him. Okay. They sent him, we had to go see their special psychologists, neurologists, all kinds of people, their own doctor. They send you, they say, we want to send them, you got to go there so our doctors can diagnose him. So I did. And then it was funny because the neurologist, the psychologist, she right away, like 2 minutes when we got in the room, she looked at Brandon and she was like, oh, he got autism. He was rocking. I mean, it was perfect because there's good days and bad days. Some days they have good days and they're like, nothing happens, like kind of like they don't rock as much or whatever. But that day he was like fixated on his little, at that time, Brandon used to like water bottles. He would find interest in a water bottle, but not the bottle, the top. And he'd hold on to the top, just walking around with the top and stuff. So, and play with different things, just weird things, clicking the pen or whatever, just odd things. And so she right away was like, oh, he got autism. Like, she just like I wasn't even in the room with him 2 minutes. And she was like, autism all the way. Because he was having his flapping and everything. So yeah. So we you want to do that first. Then you want to go to your here in Florida, it's called Agencies of Persons of Disability. It's an agency that you would get on the wait list. You would get on the wait list to try to get services. And this is Medicaid waiver services. And what this is additional on top of the Medicaid that you get. So like, for example, we all know that when you get Medicaid, yes, Agency of Persons of Disability, correct. We all know that when they get SSI, they're eligible for Medicaid, with the the prescriptions, blah blah blah, and the hospitalizations and da 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 da. Medicaid. Yeah, most Linda, in California, Medicaid does not. She said in California, Medicaid does not come with SSDI. No, most states it does not. Like I was saying, SSDI is like Medicare. After they're like disabled 2 years, they get Medicare. That that Part A, Part B, that red, white, and blue card. That's usually with SSDI. Social Security Disability. SSI is a state funded, like almost like a welfare program. You know what I'm saying? So it means supplemental security income. Yes. And Nita says that in Michigan, her son gets Medicaid and SSDI. Yes, you can get both. You can get both, dual, but trust me, it's not going to exceed, like one is going to be lower and the other one is going to be higher. You know what I'm saying? And it's going to, whatever the federal poverty level is in your state, that's where they're going to max it. It ain't going, you know what I'm saying? You ain't going to max out on the SSDI. And I know it is confusing. You ain't going to max out on the SSDI and you ain't going to max out both on the SSI. Just remember, SSI is Medicaid. So if anybody gets SSI by itself, just SSI, that's Medicaid. Just think of that, because that's a state-funded federal program, okay? And $1 of that automatically gets you Medicaid. And that's in all 50 states, all 51 states. And then SSDI, like I said, SSDI is usually because a parent was disabled as well or is disabled. And then, okay, so you know how like us working, all of us, the working, us that work, right? Social Security, we earn quarters, right? We earn quarters. And we used to get the statements in the mail, like they say, if you became disabled, uh today, you would get this amount. If you have any minors that disabled, no, if you have any minors while you were disabled, they would receive this amount. If you're married and you're disabled, your spouse would receive. It would like break it down. And then it would say, if you retired, your Social Security retirement would be this amount. You remember that statement? Now you have to go on the Social Security website and download it, because it tells you all your quarters and stuff like that. That's what it is. That's the same thing. SSDI, that statement where it says if you became disabled, you would get this amount. If you and if you have a minor child, then they would be eligible to get this amount. That's Social Security disability. Okay. I know it's confusing. It is. It's very confusing. But once you know it, you'll understand it. The only way how I understood it was I say, okay, SSI, Medicaid, SSDI, Medicare. Some people do get SSI and SSDI, and that's fine. But but if you get only SSDI, you have to apply for Medicaid or some kind of other insurance or their insurance, or wait until 2 years and get Medicare. And then, and then maybe get some supplemental insurance on top of that to pay for, like medical bills and hospital bills that Medicare don't pay. Does that make sense? So I hope that makes sense. I know it's confusing. It is. So the first thing you want to do when you move to Florida is you're going to want to apply for SSI, Social Security Disability. Then you want to go down there and apply for, you want to go to Agency Persons of Disability and get your kiddo on the, fill out the packet and get them on the wait list. Again, they're going to, once your name come up, they're going to send you to their doctors and see if they meet the it's six of the disabilities. The 6 disabilities is you have either autism, cerebral palsy, Willie Prater syndrome, Down syndrome, what am I missing? Autism, Down syndrome, Willie Prater, cerebral palsy. Let me look at my notes real quick. I tell you. Those are the 6 that Agency of Persons of Disabilities will honor, and they will look at and put you on the wait list. Give me a second. Oh boy. Here we go. I'm sorry, guys. Where is it? When you have it, then you don't have it. Then when you don't have it, then you can't have it. I don't know. This drives me crazy. Cerebral palsy, autism, Willie Prater syndrome, Down syndrome. I know them. I can't think of it. It'll come to me. Give me a minute. It'll come to me. But anyway, they recognize those 6 diagnoses. Get on the wait list, and then they will call you. Now, the good thing is when I put Brandon on the wait list in 1998, when I moved to Florida, they had the wait list was terrible. How they did it was you was assigned a number. So Brandon was like number 13,000 and 2026. Okay. That number never came down. Never came down. So then Florida, I think in the year of 2010 or something like that, they had to revamp because people was complaining, including myself. The Floridians was complaining and saying, well, why is the number, people move out of our state. Unfortunately, people have passed away that was on that's receiving Medicaid waiver services, and the list wasn't coming down. Every time we see the budget, because it's public records, so you want to be involved in all that. You want to be involved in your local agency that do that, so that you can know like the funding and everything, because sometimes sometimes the funding don't always go to our individuals that really needs it, our families that need it. You get what I'm saying? So be always involved. So we realized, wait a minute, the budget, nothing ain't going down. We ain't seeing making a difference. Like they make out of the whole state of Florida for the whole year, maybe help like 200 families. Really? With like billions of dollars in the budget, okay? And then they would say, "Oh, we're um we went over the budget or something like that." And it just wasn't adding up. So in 2010, they changed the process, and now they have like a 7-tier process. And let me see. I'm going to answer Linda's question. She said Medicare with the SSDI can have an expense. Yes, you are correct, Linda. Thank you for bringing that point up, you guys. Yes, SSDI, when you do get your Medicare, let me tell you guys, because I used to work with the state of Florida and the eligibility, do not. I know the premium for Medicare is expensive, right? I think it's $190 something, right? Do not reject it. Never reject it. Never reject it, because if you reject it, then if you decide like a year later, it's like, oh my God, because some people reject it and say, $196, I can't afford that monthly. That's a lot out of my $1,300 SSDI check or whatever. I got rent and everything else to pay, right? But if you reject it, unfortunately, you will be, and if you do decide, you say, you know what, oh man, I think I will do the Medicare. And then you enroll on Medicare, well, then there's a penalty. I have seen premiums go up to like $600 a month because they rejected it. So I always tell everybody, when they come to you and they say, okay, after the 2 years and, being disabled, and they say, hey, we're going to enroll you on Medicare, do not decline it. Just try to find a way just to pay that 196, because if you reject it, I'm telling you, the premium, when you decide you do want it, they'll put you back on it. But I've seen premiums $600, and now who can afford $600? Like, really? But that's how they do it. It's crazy. They pay like $800 a month for his coverage, for his ABA. So hard. Yes, it is. It is. It's very hard. It is very hard. And that's the thing, you guys. I don't know if you guys notice, and I don't want to be pessimistic, but if you notice, like, it just seems like everything is getting less and less, right? Less resources, less services, less of everything. As the years go and go, it's like, it's almost, I was talking to one of my best friends, and I was like, it's almost like they want our loved ones to just die, because you get denied, can't get ABA. I have a friend that her daughter had a surgery. She had spinal bifida. Oh, spinal bifida is one of one of the diagnoses. That's one. I got one more left that I got to think of. She has spinal bifida, and she had to go in to the hospital and get a surgery done. And they cut the wrong vein or something in her brain, and it made her paralyzed. and she had to learn everything all over again, like everything, like a 2 year old. She was like 13 years old. And I said cerebral palsy already. Thank you, Beth. Um, and so they do you know that they the services they don't want, it's obviously now she's paralyzed, she has to be transported, like when she go to her doctor's appointment and stuff, she has to have like the medical transport to gurney her up and take her, because she's paralyzed and everything, like she's got to be secured. Do you know, like they she has to have a nurse to come to her home, and and oversee, because she has to get injections and different things like that. And do you know, and then she became blind because of the where they cut wrong on her brain. Became blind, and her mother told me that her mother is fighting for them to get services for the blind, the Department of Blind Services. Like it's obvious, like she's blind. Like, how do you not give this kid that's paralyzed, blind, like all the help? And then she says she's fighting because in the school she's doing homeschool, but they're like saying they don't want to give her like occupational therapy because of something. It's crazy. I'm like, why? 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 They need it. Why? Like, it's not like that they're like trying to get over or something. I don't get it. But I notice, like, as the years go by, it's more and more, less and less and less, and it's more fighting that we have to do for our kiddos. We have to fight more, and we have to, you know, go round and round, and then sometimes still don't get it for our kids. Okay, Michelle said, one thing I learned during school, do not sign up for Medicare Advantage, because when you can no longer pay for Advantage, it is really hard to get basic Medicare back. Just a small heads up. You are correct. Great point, Michelle. So you guys all seen on TV, you know how where they say, oh, if you live in your zip code, if there's certain zip codes, that's Medicare Advantage. And they say you can get your check, like you can get, you live in certain zip codes, you can get extra money added to your Social Security, and then like a less premium. But what they don't tell you is that if you sign up for that, like Michelle just brought up, if you decide that you want to disenroll in that and you want to go back to just regular straight Medicare A and B and not the Advantage, it's hard to they may not let you get back on it. One, or while you're on the Medicare Advantage, yes, you might get your check, you might get the money back in return, and you might but then it's limited. It's even more limited. Like you have to go away, like an hour away to the doctor, an hour away. Stuff like that. So really be careful. Be careful when you're choosing plans and stuff like that. It's okay. You ain't got to pick right then. You could tell the people, listen, let me look over this for a couple of days, and I get back with you. You'll meet it before it close out. But you need to look over and read it. Ask some friends. Ask support, like all of us. Hey, I'm thinking about doing this. Y'all heard of this before? I've seen some people in the chat. They be like, listen, I heard about this program. Y'all, what y'all know about this? And everybody chimes in and say, yeah, and then you kind of make your decision at that point. So just be careful. Don't sign your kid up for everything. And just because things is free, be careful with that too. I don't care if they give me baskets, like sometimes they want you to sign up and they'll give you like little gift baskets and stuff full of that stuff. It ain't worth it. It ain't worth it. It ain't worth the gift basket. Then when you get to calling and because you need help for your kiddo, they don't answer phones. You can't get nobody. They ain't got nobody qualified and all that. See, they hustle you. And I don't want to sound negative, because I do know there's some good people out there, because I used to be a customer service person like that, and I was one of the good ones. And I would tell my families the truth. I'd be telling them the truth. I'd be like, look, listen, I would, I just pray that they didn't, my manager didn't screen my calls and hear me. But I would tell them. I sure would tell them. Beth says, it makes me angry to see people who can work out enjoying life, sports, but all the services, but those who work struggle to pay bills and care for these kids don't qualify. Absolutely. Absolutely. You are correct. It just don't make no sense. It don't make no sense. Can somebody tell me what the sixth one is? It's cerebral palsy, autism, Willie Prater syndrome, um, um, Down syndrome, spinal bifida. Is it mental retardation? I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, so go to your local agencies of persons of disabilities. That's what it's called here in Florida. I don't know what it's called at your states. Maybe it might be at the local Medicaid office. It may be that, you know. Um but just go and put your kid on the wait list, because some states, they're great. Some states, the wait list is quick, and then some states you wait 20 some years like I did. Florida is one of them. Florida, you gonna wait a good, if you move to Florida, you gonna at least wait, at least you got to put in at least a wait for 5 years at least. So I was back to that. So they changed in 2010. They changed the process of the wait list, because remember I told you Brandon was like number 13,000 and something, and the number never came down, because the purpose was, I should have, like, next year he should have been like 12,000 or something, or 10,000, and then the next year 9,000. You understand what I'm saying? But no, he stayed 13,000, and then one year he went up a couple of numbers. It just didn't even make no sense. So in 2010, yes, 2010 they had to change it because people was just outraged, and people was complaining and putting in grievances and going up to the Capitol and everything like that, And so now they have like a 7-tier system. So if you score a 7, that means that you are like homeless, like your mom and your parents and you are homeless, and you don't have a home to live. You don't have any support. You're living out your car and everything. So they call that crisis. Number 6 is finally, that's how I got Brandon on, as I was number 6. That means when you're the only, like if you're a single parent or you're the only support for your child, and you work full time and you about to have a breakdown. That's exactly how I got Brandon services. I called up one day. I was on my way to work, and my kid, listen, I'm just going to be real with you guys. I had to, for years, I had to work and leave my kid in the house by himself. He was old enough, and thank God he wasn't a loper or wanderer, because if he was, oh gosh, I'd been in trouble. But he wasn't, okay? And so I would tell him to stay in his house. Don't answer that door. I don't care if they said Jesus was at the door, God was at the door. I don't answer it. Nothing. I would call. I would make sure, and I set up his food, his sandwich and stuff like that, lunch, as I go. But then when he started getting the seizures, I got nervous, because I said, Lord, one day I'm gonna come home and find my kid dead on the floor because he done had a seizure, hit his head and bled out and didn't get help. So that's what I said. I called up to the agencies and I called all the people, and I told all the big people, everybody, I don't care who it was. I don't care if it's the president of the United States. I go to bat for my kid. I said, listen, I'm in crisis. I said, I'm on my way to work right now. I'm going 2 hours, because that day I was going like far. I had to go like to a place of I'm an investigator, so I had to go to a facility 2 hours away from where I live. So that means a 2 hour drive already, him by himself. It ain't like it was like I was across the street or just up the street 15 minutes. You know that and him by himself at home, I can stomach that a little bit better. But I did get nervous when I got 2 hours away, because if something happened, it would just take me 2 hours to get home to get to him, right? So I called on the highway, and I was crying, and I said, listen, you guys, I'm about to have a nervous breakdown. I said, I'm going to come home and find my kid, then had an epilepsy seizure, and then fell, because when they seize out, they don't know that they fall out anywhere, wherever, hit his head, bleed out, and die. And I come walk in and I see my kid on the floor. I said, I need help. So that's how I got it. And I had to do a questionnaire and stuff, and I was, and I was a single mom, and I don't have support. I mean, my dad used to be my support when he was alive. As like for the summer, I would send Brandon up to him for the summer, and I'd get a break. But when he passed away, he was my support. My mother lives about an hour away from me, but my mom has she's got dementia, mild dementia now. And then my brother, I only have one sibling, and he's a truck driver that drives across uh the world, the United States. So I didn't have support. I had to prove. But I did ask him. I said, listen, now I know I said I'm having a nervous breakdown, but like don't think I'm like crazy where, like I can't take care of my kid. I can. I just need support. And so that's how I got on it. So I met criteria number 6. And so the lower the numbers, the less crisis you are. Because I wasn't 7, because remember, 7 is like homeless. Now we would have been, if I was homeless and sleeping in my car, me and Brandon sleeping in my car and stuff like that, then yes, I would have met that. You know what I'm saying? But thank God I'm blessed. But don't get it twisted. We came close to that, okay? Years ago, when I first, divorced his dad, it was hard. So trust me, I know. And I just keep it real. So, I know what we all go through. Everybody has their battles, and you know what? We're all warriors, because we have our kiddos who we love and dear. We love them dearly, and then we have our own sanity and trying to figure out everything on top of that, and we still keep our head up, and we try to encourage each other and keep each other going. And to me, that's the family that I want to be part of with you guys. So let me get back on track. So you guys, so we know that you apply for, first thing you apply, that I say any state, apply, go down to Social Security, go ahead and get your kid. If you know your kid got a disability, go down there. Go ahead and just apply, okay? Because that kind of helps get you in the system. Because once you get that helps kind of open doors. You know what I mean? You have that proof of eligibility to kind of help with other things. You know what I'm saying? And it work faster. So, and then you go to the agency for disabilities. Some states, it may be the DFACS office or whatever, and apply for that. Okay. And then when they turn, I say start working on guardianship or conservatory or conservatorship or guardian advocate when they are around 15. But don't get discouraged. I have a friend that didn't do it until their kid was 36 years old. So it doesn't matter. It's just better, because then you won't have problems. It's the only thing with her was that she had problems, getting into the doctors with him and stuff. And he was like not verbal, and you know what I'm saying, but he was a big kid. And that's another thing, people always perceive our children, because our children tend to be bigger and look more mature than their age when they're really babies. But people perceive them, and when they look at them, they think they're like, they are adults, but they think they're like adults, you know, like, you know, like grown old people or something. And then, you know, and I know with Brandon, a lot of times they think that he understands and stuff, but he don't understand. Let's see. Somebody asked, apply for SSI, agencies, persons of disability, guardianship, or conservatorship. Yep, that's correct. Those are the things that you want to do. And you start looking at guardianship or conservatorship. Try to start, if you can, like when they're around, like when they turn around 16, because then, you know, 17-ish, because I'm telling you, 18 will come quick. You kind of want to have it, you want to have it already done and in the courts and all of that by, you know, by right, like day one after they turn 18. You know what I'm saying? That's what you're trying to do. Yes. Start at age 16, looking into it. Yes. So like me, I didn't do it. I got a durable power of attorney for him. And he's 26 years old now, but I'm getting ready to go do full guardianship with him. Like I said, because he's declined. I'm declining, you know, and we just don't know what the future holds. So at least I know I can feel better that if something does happen to me, that the courts by law have to take care of him, right? So that's the good thing about guardianship and conservatorship, because that's law, and by law a judge have to oversee and got to make sure that that person is taken care of wherever wherever somebody got to, an attorney or a guardian, a professional guardian, or somebody's got to oversee and know where this person is at all times. Okay. But with a durable power of attorney, some of our individuals say, like, and say, if something happened to me right now, Brandon has a durable power of attorney. Thank God. The second in command is my best friend, my very best friend. She's known him since he was 2 years old. I was there for the birth of her kids. So, like, you know, we know. So, and I trust her. But what if something happened to her? And then Brandon signs his rights to some, God knows, some stranger. And then they take his SSI. And they can, because they're a power of attorney. They can take his SSI check and do whatever they want to, and he don't get it. So and that's a true story, because I went to a place with my job, and I went to a place and I went to investigate exploitation, and this person had a power of attorney. A vulnerable adult had a power of attorney, and she decided not to pay for her rent in the assisted living facility. She was her power of attorney. She decided not to pay that month for the rent for his needs there. And she decided at that time, she said she was going to take her a vacation with her money. I keep saying his because I have other stories too. But she decided she's going to take her a vacation, I think to the Dominican Republic or something. So, but there was nothing nobody could do, because the vulnerable adult did not have a guardianship. See, the guardianship or conservatorship is protection. Nobody can do nothing unless the judge, the courts is involved. But a power of attorney, it just takes a person signing their rights, signing it over, not knowing, you know, our kiddos. Also, you want to get your kiddos involved in go take them by the local police department. You know, I said I was gonna talk about that, because as our kids in our community, you know, introduce your kids to your neighbors and stuff like that. Let them know. Say, hey, you know, if you hear like noises and stuff, it's okay. He or she, or they're that's the part of their sense. educate them on autism and tell them it's okay. They're not screaming and hollering, even though it sounds like they're screaming and hollering. I'm telling you, I'm Brandon sometimes get way up there in the signals. It sounds like I'm beating the kid to death, but I'm not. It's just he's so excited and happy, and so I had to and I used to live in an apartment, so I had to go and tell and explain and kind of educate my neighbors and say, okay, please don't call the police on us, because I'm not beating this boy. He just happy. He just seen some kind of cartoon that he like, his SpongeBob or something. He just got excited and starts and doing all that, and it might sound like that he's screaming and hollering or whatever. So educate. But I also took him down to the local sheriff and the police department, law enforcement, and introduced him just in case. So just in case, if anything, they know my kid. You know what I'm saying? Like if my kid happened to get out, or if somebody, anything, they'll be like, oh, I know that kid. I know, or and they'll know him, and they'll understand and educate them, because sometimes they think law enforcement officers think that because they're acting quirky and stuff, like if you tell them, the minute you tell somebody with autism to stay still, what they gonna do? Start stimming, right? And then their law enforcement's thinking, he's being he's not adhering to our commands, and he's being when you're against the police officer, they might take it as that. The wrong cop might think, he's being fidgety, he on drugs. No. It's just that's them. So if you educate them, then they will get to know your kid. And what I did was I participated what one of our autism groups, local groups here, what she does, and and um and I'll probably talk to Nita and Linda about it. Maybe they can do it in their state, and maybe we could do it, like get people in each state in the group to do it, but participate in, like, start giving law enforcement, volunteering and going to the law enforcement and do trainings with them. And it's very beneficial, because let me tell you, I took Brandon to one. I let him volunteer to a training, and they had a bag of powder, baby powder. It looked like cocaine, right? So then they tested, and they said, Brandon, come here. And they said, Brandon, I want you to take this bag and go give it to that person over there. So then guess what Brandon did? He's like, okay. And the guy said, okay, if you take this bag over there, and give it to that guy over there, I'll give you $100, and you can go buy your favorite games or whatever. And guess what my kid did? Oh, okay, I'll take it. But that's a bag of coke. It wasn't a bag of cocaine, but you get the gist. That was a bag of. He's transporting. He could get arrested. He could go to jail. But he didn't know. He's just innocent. That's what they do. That's how they traffic our kids. That's how so be mindful. I learned so much in that training, and that law enforcement training, because I said, oh my gosh, with our kiddos, you say, hey, take these bag of it might be a bag of pills, those what is the pills that's killing everybody right now? Fentanyl. Those that look like candy, they said. They get our kids, especially some of that is a little bit more higher functioning, because Brandon ain't gonna get caught up. Because Brandon don't want to be bothered with nobody. But some of our kids are active, and they should be. It's great. And they get caught up with the wrong person because they want to have friends. And then the friend, they think that it's their friend, say, hey, take this bag of candy, lie to him and say, take this bag of candy and take it over so-and-so's house for me. He's trafficking drugs. He get in trouble. So we just got to be careful and mindful. It's scary. So that's why you want to get the law enforcement to know your kid, because then they'll know, oh no, I know that mama, I know that kid. No. No, no, he wouldn't have did that or whatever. You understand what I'm saying? Does that make sense? So, that's another thing I would encourage. Do that. I'm telling you, I learned so much. I didn't realize it. My kid, my Brandon sure did take the powder and gave it to the other officer. And then so then they told all the other officers, see, what would we do? And then they all said, well, we would arrest him. So then they asked him, they said, hey, they asked Brandon, they said, Brandon, do you waive your rights? And he said, yeah. No, he's not supposed to. So then I taught him that anytime if he ever gets stopped by the police, not in and not in my presence, I'm not with him, which that'll never happen because I'm either with him all the time or my caregiver's with him all the time. And listen, I screen my caregivers very good. They know I don't play, so they should be needed to be getting stopped by cops and stuff. Okay. But just in case, I had to teach him that you can't. No, we don't waive our rights. You know what I'm saying? But he did. He waved. He was like, yeah, I wave. I'm waving my right arm, my right hand. I'm waving. But that was the wrong answer. So I had to teach him. We had to teach him. So I was so grateful to that training because could you imagine like if in real time, if something had happened, he would have went to jail and got in all this trouble. And then Lord knows, he don't understand. He don't understand. Let's see. Dinah says, I was thinking about it for Nathaniel to introduce him to the police. He's a big guy and likes to take walks and sit in the park. I can see someone think he might be a predator, even though he doesn't think at that level. Too many Karens laugh at. You are absolutely right, and that's where I got back to. Remember earlier I said because our kiddos tend to be bigger, and people are scared of them. Listen, one time my son Brandon was about 5 years old, and we were playing in the park. He was playing, and mom, she had her little baby in the stroller, and she was walking by, and Brandon, he loved babies. Oh my gosh, he loves babies. He would never hurt. He'll let a 2-year-old beat him up. Okay. So Brandon saw the little baby in the stroller, and he went, and she said, oh Lord, my gosh, he getting ready to beat my baby. And I was like, oh no, ma'am, no. He's just excited. He's stimming. You see what I'm saying? Do you see how something so innocent turned into something bad? So yes. And he was just, but he was doing this. And she thought he was going to beat the baby up. And I was like, no, ma'am, he's not going to do anything to the baby. He's excited. He has autism. He's stimming. He's excited. He likes little babies. He wasn't even trying to get her or nothing. He was just looking at her. You know how they look, and that's all he was doing. So we just got to be mindful of this and just educate people, and it's okay. Listen, there's been a lot of times that if people don't want to invite me to places, they're lost. Okay. They're lost. I mean, because if you can't accept him, then you can't accept me. It ain't no separation. Either you take him, you gotta have me. Or I mean, if you have me, then you gotta have him. So that's all I gotta say. So just be mindful. Some of the other maybe some other groups that you might can get involved with is definitely you want to get involved in disability rights. Like here we have disability rights of Florida. I think every state got a disability rights, like of Michigan, disability rights of Tennessee, disability rights of California, or maybe they might even break them up in like California is big, so they may have like SoCal, NorCal, like that. So you might want to get involved with that because the disability rights, they kind of help you. They would be the ones that kind of help you and guide you. Like if you have issues with your IEPs and school systems and all of that, they can give you all that kind of help. You know what I mean? And then get attorneys, or also if you have to decide, some parents, it's hard. and it's no judgment. Some parents have to put their children in group homes or assisted livings, or or a nursing home or whatever, and that's a hard decision for parents, but sometimes it is needed for the safety of the child, of the kiddo, and of the parents. And so I mean, never feel like that you're a bad parent, or you because if you're faced with this decision that you didn't do anything right, you did everything right. And in fact, I think I give my hats off to you all the way, because you recognize, and and you love your child that much that you want to keep them safe. Sometimes they have to go in places like that, because to keep them safe. So disability rights of Florida also helps with that, making sure that the compliance, the laws are being met, and they're honoring their rights and all of that stuff. And and again, attorneys going in, if you decide you want to sue and stuff like that, they kind of will help, like pro bono, like help you with with suing and getting that approved or whatever. Or even like maybe even help with legislative, like some of them waiver programs, like like the like in Florida, we have it was a Terry Shriver waiver. It's called a different waiver now, but that's how it started, because the Terry Shriver, she was the lady that was on the ventilator, life support. And her husband, she I forgot how she got like that, but she had to go on life support. She was married, she was an adult. Her husband, he wanted to she had been on for years, like 10 plus years on this life support. She didn't die, and husband wanted to remarry. And that old skank husband, you guess who he wanted to marry? One of her nurses. Yeah, that's a whole nother story. That's only for Florida. Your local, all states have their own local network, so like the low down and the dirty downs. But anyway, he wanted to marry the nurse. And she she they had to honor her living will, because she had put her living will in place before she got in her. Michelle just told me it was a car accident. I think you're right. um 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 she had did her will before, when she was well and everything like that. So she has said that if she gets into a vegetative state, that she did not want to be resuscitated, and didn't want to live and all that stuff, and be on the on the life support and all of that stuff. But then what happened, it overturned, and the husband was trying to use the old will or something. It was crazy. And but she ended up passing away. But it was a big, I mean, like, it was like a big court thing, back and forth for years, because the husband was like, well, let's just, she had to do that resuscitate order, because she had, I think the do not resuscitate order came after she got a guardian. Once she had the car accident and she was on life support, they assigned a guardian to her, right? And so they did a do not resuscitate order. So he wanted them to kill her, basically. You see what I'm saying? That's what he wanted to do, so he can go marry the nurse. It was ugly. It's just crazy. So you just want to make sure that you get all your, get those things in order. Think about things. Make sure you're leaving your loved one or your kiddo to the right support and stuff like that. I am pro marriage. I am pro family, but I am one of the ones, it didn't work out that way. Okay. I got divorced. I you know what I'm saying? I wanted it forever, but it wasn't in my cards. So I have to plan accordingly now. You understand what I'm saying? Things happen. So you have to think that you don't you don't wish it, but you gotta always have plan B's and think ahead, because sometimes things happen, and you think your partner want to be with you, and then as soon as they can't take it. They can't take it if something happened to you, or your kid. I have so many friends that have gotten divorces like me, because their kid has autism or disability, special needs, and the other partner can't handle it. And hey, I'm not judgmental, because some people can handle it and some people can't. You understand? It's just the only thing I have a problem with is just be honest with it. Don't keep me, going along and stuff, and then taking it out on me and the kid and all of that. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, so also let me get back on track. You definitely want to know websites, like you want to know, you want to visit your Florida, not Florida, but your Department of Education. They have all the like the safe, what is it called? The safe, what is it? Safe, what are they called? Safety, safeguards. They have all the safeguards. They have all the safeguards for you to know about your child in IEP and in education, or even not with IEP. Or if you have a kid that is gifted, APs and all that, them honor kids and all them, that all of that goes in there. So you want to visit them. You in Florida, we also have what we have a magazine. It's called Bright Feet, and they actually, it's awesome. They actually have at the magazine, that the person that do the website, the pictures, the writing, everything on that magazine, they have a disability of some kind. Isn't that beautiful? So that gives them employment, you know and so that that's called Bright Feet. And so maybe what some of you guys can do, that start that in your community. You know what I'm saying? It only takes one person, one parent, one person, one beautiful kiddo to do it. I was listening to the other night, I was listening to Nathaniel and Dinah's son. Amazing. Amazing. You see how he's doing it? That's all it takes. That's all it takes. He's my hero. He encouraged me. He even had me thinking it's Bright Feet. Oh, Bright Feet's like FEAT. Like feature feet, not FEET, not like our feet on our legs. You may want to know, of course, you want to sign up with Autism and Us. You better be signed up with Autism and Us. Children and Family, Disability Rights, APD, Florida Department of Education. Also get involved and see what your yes, Michelle, that's it. Correct. Check it out. I think let me give you the website to Bright Feet, so you guys can kind of look and maybe get ideas and start one in your area. You know what I'm saying? And I love this magazine, because it gives opportunity for individuals with all types of disabilities. They design it. They do that magazine every month. From the editing to the pictures to the articles to the what it is it's a beautiful magazine too, because it's also a list of resources in there. You know what I'm saying? For different areas, like for Central Florida is Orlando, like Orlando, Altamont Springs, Sanford, like the surrounding areas, Kissimmee, that stuff, Melbourne, like that. And then they have some, they'll list like for areas of Miami-Dade or up in the Panhandle, in Tallahassee, or Pensacola area. They will tell you different resources. They'll tell you like doctors, special pediatricians, special pulmonologists, neurologists, psychologists. Now the downside about Florida is, and it might be other states too, I don't know, but I know, like, for like my son, his pulmonologist, I only have a choice now to take him either to Tampa, which is an hour away, or to Melbourne, which is 2 hours away, to go see an asthma doctor, because he's now an adult and he has Medicaid. You see what I'm saying? Why? Why? Why don't I have one here in Orlando, Florida? In big Orlando, Florida, Metro Orlando, why I got to go out? Because he has Medicaid. That's what I'm saying, But I'll do it if he got to be seen. So what I said I'll do is, if I have to go take off work every 3 months, or every 6 months, or however often. I mean, it can't be like every month. I can't do that. So they got to work with me, because I got to drive there, and I don't know, but in here in Metro Orlando, girl, it's accidents every day, all the time, especially from here to Tampa. Anybody that's familiar with Orlando knows the Interstate I-4. That I think that's murder 4. That's what I think, because it's always something going on that. It's always an accident all the time. Yes, Michelle, thank you so much. Michelle put up the website for me. Thank you. www.brightfeets.com. I am so sorry, you guys. I'm off track. I'm so excited talking with you guys. That's all. Let me think. Oh, so also you can get involved with like here in Florida, we have what you call Division of Vocation Rehab. And that's an extension that kind of helps when you are like, when your kiddos in school. And like how it helped Brandon was when Brandon was in high school, he so part of his curriculum in high school was he had to work it's called vocational education, but he actually worked a job. Like he worked in Burlington factory, and under the vocational rehab, they set it up with his IEP and the school and everything like that to help him get job job coaching, like skills for working and stuff like that. And of course, what do you think my child with autism wanted to do in Burlington's coat? Do you think he wanted to be a cashier? Absolutely not. You think he wanted to be the person that put the prices on the stuff? Absolutely not. Do you think he wanted to stock and in the back and put organized things? Absolutely. Do you think he wanted to go down each aisle and make sure that all the red shirts and all the same brand of the shirts and all the same size of the shirts and coats and pants and whatever? Do you think he wanted to do that? Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So he knew, and it helped him. It helped him learn how to like job skills. Job skills. And another thing too, what I did was, listen, you guys, I'm not being funny, but I was like, I don't want my kid to be working, picking up chairs in the cafeteria. Okay. I mean, listen, there's nothing wrong with that, but I wanted him to experience just like everybody else, other high schoolers. You know how our high schoolers go out and in their last years of high school, they go and work, and you know what I'm saying, half a day or whatever. That's what I wanted him to do. So I was very particular and specific. That's what I wanted to do. Okay, yes, DeAndre. Nita says DeAndre sorted at Big Lots. Awesome. And he was good at it until they got to the toy aisle. I know that's right. I know that's right. Them cars, huh? Them cars, boy, for DeAndre. Them race cars. But yeah, our kiddos, they love sorting. They love, listen, do you know there's a lot of people that don't like to be, don't, they're not organized and don't like to organize. Our kiddos are awesome. Our kiddos, I know some of them that are nonverbal and can do it. So I mean, listen, there's something for them to do. All of them. It's something for them to do. So anyway, make sure that you prepare in your state or your county or your city. Apply or register for special needs during hurricane. Well, here is hurricane disasters, but some states it's tornadoes, some states it's snowstorms and ice storms and stuff like that. Make sure that you put in the system. Yes, my kid has special needs, autism, asthma, ADHD, everything. Tell them all, everything, because you will, like, just in case, they will actually, the cops, the police, the fire department, everybody will call during a disaster. They will call your house and check on you and see if you need help, or if you need, like, if your car's not working and you're stuck, they could transport you to a shelter or whatever. They give you preference. I'm telling you, there's lots of stuff like that out there. Okay, Dinah says here in Illinois, the waiting list for mental health service is years, and you really have to call a lot to push and help once they become 20 years. You are absolutely right, Dinah. That was my point earlier. Remember when I said earlier, I said, you know what? In Florida, they will give you all the services galore when our kids are minors and babies and kids and little ones and up. But when the minute they turn 18, they drop off. Where the services at? To me, they really need it then to become a successful adult in society, right? That's how I think. Like, I mean, we all can agree that we can wing it when they little, because you just get some candy, toys, Santa Claus, well, some of our kiddos still believe in Santa Claus. I do. I still believe in Santa Claus. I love Christmas. But you understand, it's, to me, for us that have special needs kids, to me, and correct me, you guys, if I'm wrong, but I think you guys would agree. Wasn't it easier when they were younger than when they start getting older? Because when they get older, as we get older, don't we need more help? Duh. So why don't we have services? And I'm glad you brought that up, Dinah, because here in Florida too, it's awful. Mental health, it's awful. Like, it's awful for our kiddos, and our kiddos that got ADHD, anxiety, autism of itself, because I do think some parts of autism, because it's neurological, it does affect, the frontal lobe and stuff like that, and then people that got seizures and stuff, all that is, it causes different things, and if we had like mental health, listen, I say have mental health for everybody. I think they should have them in the workplace for me. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I can just go down, like, when I'm having a bad day, I go down to the lady down at the office, down in the hallway, and go say, listen. I today ain't the day, whatever. Do you understand? And I think it'd probably be a better world, probably. I think people will work out better and do better, and you know what I'm saying, and get back encouraged, because sometimes that's all you need is just to talk out stuff and just somebody to listen to you. So, but mental health here is awful. I mean, you gotta it's so bad here Basically, I'm not being morbid. You got to be Baker acted. Isn't that crazy? You got to be Baker acted by the police to get mental health concerns addressed. Let's see. Dinah says the need for medication management on top of this national medication shortage is crazy. Yes, you are absolutely right, Dinah. It is. It's crazy. To me, the whole thing is crazy. Everything crazy. It's not us. It's them. It's these people. I don't understand. If they talk to us, we got plenty of suggestions. I can give them a list of things. So, but they don't. Do they really want to know? I don't know. I don't know. So, did anybody think of the 661? The 6 diagnosis? It was cerebral palsy, autism, Down syndrome. I'm gonna find it. Spinal bifida. So I did want to share with you guys. I did. Linda said it was ADHD. No, Linda, that's not recognized. Not in Florida. It might be in California, but no, not in Florida. I'm gonna give them to you. Just a second. Just bear with me. It's okay. I found it. Cerebral palsy, Down syndrome. Yes, I thought it was mental retardation. Prader. Oh, I called it Willie Prader. I got it backwards. It's Prader-Willi syndrome, and then spinal bifida. So, and autism. So we got autism, cerebral palsy, Down syndrome, mental retardation, Prader-Willi syndrome, and spinal bifida are the 6 diagnoses that's recognized for the agency persons of disability here in Florida. Now, like I said, remember, each state is different. Oh, and that's another thing I want to tell y'all. So I see a lot of my friends and family on AAU that say, hey, I'm thinking about moving to Florida, or I'm thinking about moving to Texas, or I'm thinking about moving over here. Let me tell you something. If your kiddo is receiving ABA and all that good stuff, all the services, and you waited, you got it now, and it's all set, you need to do your research and do it well. Do not leave thinking that you could go to another state and it's going to transfer. Oh, no, it don't work like that. You start from ground zero when you move to a new state. So I know a lot of people have that misconception and they think that it is going to transfer over. It does not. And I'm going to tell you why. Because when me and Brandon and his father, when we lived in Arizona, when we were at that time, we were married and we were in Arizona. We lived in Arizona. Brandon had everything galore. I mean, we had OTs and ABA, everybody coming to the house. Okay. I mean, I didn't even have to get up and go nowhere. They all came to the house. That's how good Arizona was. And then when I divorced him and I decided to move back to Florida, guess what? Brandon didn't get nothing. And when I was in Arizona, the service so good that they even gave Brandon a computer, a laptop, and everything. I'm telling you, they had all the money and everything. Oh, he need a laptop? Okay, we'll give him a assistive device, blah, 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 blah. Everything galore. I had it all. I'm telling you, I had it all. Like I told you, the PT, the OT, the speech therapist, all of them came to the house. I didn't have to get up off my couch if I didn't want to. They came, brought their balls and exercise equipment and everything to the house, everything. But then as soon as I divorced and moved back to Florida, nothing. Ground zero. I had to start all over. So just be mindful that if you got a lot of services or a little bit or whatever you got, make sure that you decide, make sure you do your research. Don't go by what people say. And, everybody got stories, you know what I'm saying? Don't be, well, I have a friend over here that said they got on it like in 2.5 seconds. Well, maybe they had a crisis. Everybody don't tell it all their business. You know what I'm saying? Some people are ashamed. Some people don't want to say how they got it, or they they were almost indigent or whatever like that, which they don't have to, but you have to just do your own research, and don't move and move, make a move detrimental to your kiddo if you was getting all these services in this state, and then you think that it's going to transfer and you're going to get it here in Florida. A lot of New York people move to Florida. People from New York moves to the state of Florida, and they get all they get services, all these services in New York. So New York gives a whole lot of stuff. They even got the remember I told you SSI, they get the federal one and the state one, right? The extra on top of it. They move down here and then they're disappointed because they don't even get half of that stuff. Okay? They don't. So I know some people, and I'm not saying that you won't get it, but I'm saying that you at least will have to wait 5 years on the wait list. You got to do your time. That's just how it is. Unless you become crisis, and of course you got to prove it. You got to prove that you're living in your car and you're homeless and your kid don't have nowhere to lay his head and you're hungry and all that. You got to prove that to be a number 7. You got to prove that you're a single parent, about ready to have a nervous breakdown, working full-time job, everything else. And and your kid got diagnosis, and you got hospital records and all that. You got to show this stuff to be a 6. 5, I think it's if they're still in school after 22 or something like that. It's different criteria. Agency of Persons with Disability, they name it now. They list it on their website, so you'll know. So just make sure, because I've had a few friends that moved here and they lost a lot of stuff, and guess what? Their kiddo have declined so bad because they had all the support in a state that they lived in, and then because they moved here because of Disney World. Listen, what is Disney World if you don't have support? Like, child, I could go there. I could go every 5 years or whatever on a vacation if once I can afford it or whatever. You understand what I'm saying? We just have to just always think of our kiddos first. So Michelle had something up. Nita, can you put that back up that Michelle put? This is why I choose to work in a pharmacy that helps underserved. Oh, bless you, Michelle. That's awesome. I choose not to work in a community pharmacy. I have worked in 3 types, and the one that helped it out in the mental health or with the long-term care hospital. Oh, God bless you. Bless you. That's awesome. That's awesome. You guys, let's clap for Michelle. That's awesome. I love to hear people like Michelle that helps. You know what I'm saying? That want to help others, because it's so many people that need the help, It's so many people. And then there's so many people that you see that don't need it and then get it and then don't even appreciate it. When you see this one over here, like if they only had an ounce of it, they would like be in heaven. You understand? So anyway, so in the state of Florida, if you want to know about guardianship in Florida, the Florida statute is statute 744. If you want to know about guardian advocate for mental health, the Florida statute is 394. And then if you want to know about guardian advocate about guardian advocate of the developmental disabilities, you remember the 6 criteria I told you? That will be in Florida statute 393. But our Florida statute for guardianship as a whole is statute 744. So I think I saw something again. Nita, can you put that back up for me again? Oh, thank you, Michelle. Thank you all. Thank you guys all. Did I miss anybody? I don't want to miss nobody. All you guys are very important to me. Oh my gosh. Awesome. Awesome. That is correct. Florida Statute 744, 394, and 393. If you live in the state of Florida, those are the statutes you want to look at and research. Okay. And then if you live in other states, at least you know kind of where to start and look, and sometimes them words is kind of crazy. So, you be looking up in dictionaries and stuff like I do. I be Googling and looking up and like, what this mean? To figure it out. But yeah. So thank you so much, Lorienda. I learned something new. The difference between SSI and SSDI. I think I got it now. Laugh out loud. Very helpful information tonight. We appreciate you. Does anybody have any other questions or anything that they would like to just ask for clarification, or maybe I missed something and I didn't I'd be happy to help you or answer it. I just basically wanted to give you some of the resources here in Florida, and to help you like in your states maybe, and give you ideas of where you can go in your state. You know what I mean? I know it may not be the same name, but at least you know where to go, because you know what? It doesn't drop in our laps, right? It doesn't drop in our laps, unfortunately. And we have to do the work. We have to do the hard work, but it pays off. So sometimes it's good to have somebody that kind of can tell you, because sometimes I've been there where I didn't even know where to start. Like, where do I go? What am I looking for? You see what I'm saying? So that's what my point was today, just to kind of give you some a little guidance that that's helpful to at least get you started, on your journey and your search. Again, what's the difference between SSI and SSDI? You guys remember? And when should you start your guardianship or your conservatorship for your kiddo? It's never too late, though. And from what I understand, conservatorship is basically that's like from what I read, that's like the attorney is involved. Like the attorney is like involved and is the guardian, like something like that. We don't call it that here in Florida. We call it guardian. So SSDI is someone who has worked and put into the system. That is so correct. And yes, you are correct. They go by quarters. They go by your working quarters. And usually people that become disabled, they don't have as many working quarters in Social Security as like when you retire, when you get a Social Security retirement. And then SSI is something for our kids or anyone 65 and older, or you didn't put in enough quarters in Social Security working quarters, you can get SSI 15 and 16. And I remember that. Yep. 15, 16, start your guardianship or looking at it, trying to figure out what's going on. I know in Florida, guardianship costs around, for the attorney and the process, everything, it's about 10 grand. But if you get guardian advocate, which I had thought about doing that some years ago, and I have some friends that have done that. That is where the parents, or the household, the brothers, sisters, you can name as many people on the guardian advocate as backups. And basically that's just, usually that's the family or friends of the family or your best friend or loved one or somebody that know the person, and they're called a guardian advocate, and that is cheaper. That runs about, in Florida, that runs about 2,500. Basically, it might not even be that much. It might not even be that much, because if you can do it on your own, if you can do it on your own, um, and I have the layout of how to do it on your own, you might at best be paying like $500, $250 for the court fee to file it, and and then another 250 for something else. I forgot what it was, but it's less expensive. But you really got to make sure that for the guardian advocate, you got to list people that you trust. And remember, they with the guardian advocate, they can still keep their rights. They could keep some of their rights. When you have a full-on guardianship or conservatorship, they lose their rights. Okay. I think I saw something what Dinah said. Lorienda, thank you for your information. It was wonderful to see Brandon. Oh, yes. Yes. I love all your kiddos, you guys. I see all y'all's pictures and everything, and it just, when I have a hard day coming home from work and I look at those faces, it just really brightens up my day. It really does. I literally, I'm telling you guys, I come home from work and I will get on Autism and Us so I can look at those beautiful faces, and then I can go get me something to eat, and then I can go to sleep and then start my day for the next day. So I appreciate all of you guys. Thank you for your support. When I reach out to y'all on the support page and you guys answer my questions and help me out, I learn so much from you guys as well. It's mutual, and much love. Okay. All right. Bye-bye, guys. Thank you.